Member for Calgary-Shaw, followed by McLeod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The social supports for women fleeing violence in this province are inadequate. According to recent reports, over 17,000 women were turned away from emergency shelters last year. That's 2,000 more than the year before, and it's enough to fill Rexall Place. This is a troubling statistic made worse by the fact that these women are being turned away at a critical time when they are most concerned about their own personal safety and the safety of their children. To the Minister of Human Services, why is your government denying support to thousands of vulnerable women every year?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would first like to thank the honourable member for his powerful statement on the 25th anniversary of École Polytech. We know the work we have to do. As I indicated earlier, shelters are just one part of the equation. It's about increased supports to support women in violence with frontline workers and first responders such as police. We work with them to help them with their immediate safety and needs, but again, it's temporary, and we're looking at the housing first model as much as we can.
First supplemental.
Last year, I raised the issue of unfunded capacity existing in our emergency shelters, and in response, the province allocated funding for an additional 70 spaces in the system. Good. Minister, is there additional capacity in our shelters today, over and above these 70 spaces, to do more if the funding was made available, and will you be advocating for that in your budget this year?
Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And indeed, we did allocate 70 more shelter beds last budget for a total of 710 beds. One of the other areas we allocated funds for was shelter enhancement funding, which of about $260,000 for across Alberta for shelters to use funds for extra expenses, and that's been a very successful with respect to maintenance. There's some agencies that have funded that in Calgary, so we know that it's important to have these available and to have the conversations with the shelters to meet their needs.
Final supplemental.
The additional spaces are a start, Mr. Speaker, and we all recognize that this is a multifaceted and complex problem with no simple solutions. When a woman makes the choice to seek help, which requires a huge leap of faith in our social system, and our collective response is to send them right back into the violence they are attempting to flee, we are failing them, Minister. This is not a new problem. What are you going to do about it?
Honourable Minister.
Well, again, Mr. Speaker, as I've said previously, we know women are reaching out for help, and that's contacting the Family Information Line as well, which I said is available in 170 languages. I'm looking forward to working with the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters to ensure we have a consistent way to collect data to see exactly how many women and children that we're able to help. And I know that sometimes women may contact a shelter by phone before they decide to leave a tragic situation. But I can assure you, Human Services in this government is working very hard to support women and families.
The honourable member.